Are there any motions to take note of answers? Senator Conroy.
Thank you, Mr Deputy President. I rise to take note of all the answers from the government today to all of Labor's questions. But I want to pay particular attention to Senator Abbott's disgraceful continuing covering and protecting for Michael Lawler. The Liberal Party handpicked the Vice President of the Fair Work Commission from public scrutiny, and they continue to protect him from public scrutiny and accountability. In his role at Fair Work, Mr Lawler is responsible for upholding the values of our legal system and society in relation to critical matters of industrial relations. But Mr Lawler's conduct over the last 5 years can only be described as extraordinary. Taking extreme amounts of leave at the expense of the taxpayer, 9 out of the last 12 months. Breaching judicial codes and practice standards. Attracting formal investigations into his behaviour, and all while presiding over a sharply declining number of matters before the Fair Work Commission. Lawler has proven himself unfit for the office which he holds. Mr Lawler is, of course, the partner of none other than the disgraced union fraudster Cathy Jackson. And Senator Abetz has described Cathy Jackson as a courageous person that should be applauded. But watch Senator Abetz squirm away from that ringing endorsement now that Jackson has been exposed as having misappropriated $1.4 million from the Health Services Union and its members. And right by Ms Jackson's side throughout her plundering of union members' money has been Mr Lawler, a person charged with protecting the integrity of our industrial relations system. Now, relentless work by Pamela Williams at the Australian newspaper has uncovered the extent to which Mr Lawler has benefited from Ms Jackson's crimes. Yep, that's right. While taking home nearly $500,000 in taxpayer salary, despite taking 9 months of unexplained sick leave, Michael Lawler has benefited from the proceeds of crime. Recent proceedings against Jackson in the federal court uncovered damning evidence of stolen money being used to finance Jackson's luxury Melbourne home during 2008. Faced in court with this evidence, Jackson had no choice but to admit to paying off her mortgage with stolen HSU money. Admitted it in court. In mid-2012, Lawler and Jackson moved out of Jackson's luxury Melbourne home and moved to the New South Wales coast, where they purchased a $1.3 million home in Woomera on the New South Wales coast. And in October 2013, when Jackson finalised the sale of her luxury Melbourne home, the same home that she'd financed using stolen HSU money, the net profits of this sale were more than $620,000. So she took the money and in 3 separate transactions in October 2013 paid down the mortgage on her Woomera property. And in October 2014, supposedly while on sick leave from Fair Work Commission, Mr Lawler transferred 50% of Miss Jackson's Woomera property into her own name. He took advantage of the New South Wales property laws to avoid any money changing hands, as well as to prevent any stamp duty from being paid on the transfer. But at that moment, in his greed, he received ownership of a property purchased with the proceeds of crime. The money trail leads straight from the HSU to Jackson's Melbourne mortgage, then on to financing with a Woomera mortgage, the home that Mr Lawler now includes as one of his own assets. Lawler is living off the proceeds of crime. He owns a house bought with money stolen from union members. So this government, Senator Abetz, Mr Turnbull, should stop protecting Mr Lawler and work with the opposition to restore the integrity of the Fair Work Commission.